Welcome back. And at the end of the last break, we were just talking about people who have an acute level of sensitivity.
Yes, and the difficulty for them is trying to find out what's going on, because the medical profession has not been brought up to speed on this. And what we're finding, which is really, really sad, is in many cases these people who are suffering real symptoms are being sent to psychologists and psychiatrists.
Oh.
And it reminds
and medicated.
Well, yes, but also they're made to feel as if it's something wrong with them.
Okay.
And it's a bit like the early days where, do you remember chronic fatigue was called yuppie flu, and everyone was meant it's all psychosomatic, and it's absolutely not, and we need to have an understanding of this. But the most important thing is these people who have this sensitivity, if you know someone who's like that, listen to them, because they're the canaries in the coal mine of our environment.
Mm-hmm.
They're telling us what's there simply because the rest of people generally aren't able to feel it for themselves.
Yeah.
So listen to them.
Yeah.
You know, they're not nuts.
Yeah.
They've just got an extra range of perception.
Yeah. And you've got a list of all the symptoms in there. What would be some of them? Just a couple.
Well, I mean, the most common ones, for example, would be, and they're very hard to, because it affects the whole body.
Yeah.
It's systemic, so it can crop up anywhere. It depends who you are and how your immune system's functioning. But for example, headaches, really, really common.
Mm-hmm.
General tiredness,
mm-hmm.
just that lack of spark, no vitality. And then also things like depression.
Yeah.
Low-level anxiety all the time, high levels of anxiety. In some people, panic attacks.
Yeah.
It can affect your skin, it can affect your hearing, it can affect your eyes, it can affect your lungs. Very common to affect the electrical activity of your brain, the electrical activity of your heart, liver, kidneys. There's a whole
range in there.
And I mean, in this book particularly is listed the research, and there's a list of research, but they're split into symptoms so that people can see the effect that the research is having.
Yeah.
And lists and lists and lists of what it does: eyes, vision, fatigue, headaches, heart, immune system, kidneys, melatonin, memory.
So it goes on and on and on.
Reproduction, there's almost nothing it doesn't affect.
Given we're biological beings.
Exactly.
Well, you know, given we're biological beings, we're Wi-Fiing schools.
I know.
What is that doing to the...
Children are so sensitive, and they're forced to go to school legally, and they're being blanketed with this radiation. The really fascinating thing is, because it affects your brain, it reduces learning. It reduces mental processing, it reduces memory, it has a huge effect on behaviour, it has a huge effect on emotions. What about hormones? You've got a high school full of teenagers with raging hormones anyway, and then you throw that into the mix and it affects their hormone balance. And again, I mentioned it once before, what we really need, this already, since this has come out, it's been taken to one school that was about to install Wi-Fi, and they've put a hold on it.
Wow.
Now what's really interesting is, one of the reasons that they're considering not doing it, obviously, is for the health of their kids.
Yeah.
The other issue is they're looking into the legal responsibility of duty of care.
Yeah.
And we have to start looking at that as a society. One of the reasons, I have a chapter on Wi-Fi here full of resources for parents, so they're able to take these books and just give them to their Parents and Teachers Association, to give them to the principals, and say, just please look at the research, please reconsider.
Well, just as we're winding up, your website, which you see at the bottom of the screen, is holdthephone.co.
Yep,
.co. So what can people see when they go onto your website?
It explains everything about the book.
Yep.
It explains about the research, it explains about electricity sensitivity. There are some free downloadable chapters. They can look at the entire contents pages, so they see everything that's given in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And then also it lists all the outlets where it can be bought.
Okay, and they can also get the e-book version?
They can get e-books, the variety of different e-book versions, and there's the paperback available as well.
Okay, so as we're completing, what's the one last message that you would like to leave with people?
One last message, how do you narrow it down to one? Is just look at the issues, listen with your gut, to what's going on. Listen with your gut and your heart, and then make a decision about what you really value.
Yeah.
Think about your health versus convenience, because it may be more like it is that you are going to have to choose between convenience or health.
Yeah.
Everyone's decision is different, but just work out now what you value most.
Yeah.
Because that's the bottom line. Health or convenience.
Yeah. And as we complete this conversation with Alison, we've mentioned twice about duty of care. And for me, this is what Conversations for a Better World is about. I honestly believe that, you know, there's 7 billion plus of us, and we have a duty of care to each other. It's about coming back together as a collective society. You know, one of the quotes that came to me many years ago, which is going to be on the new show website, we are one people, and we are living on one planet, and we all breathe the same air, and we all feed from the same earth. And now I could tear up. But the reality is, the reason I'm doing this program is because it is time that we start coming together regardless of where we live, regardless of our age, our socio-economic situation, what our religious belief is. At the end of the day, we're all living together on a planet that has finite resources. And I honestly believe we can live together harmoniously. So thank you so much for being part of the first inaugural episode.
Thank you.
And let's all make this a better world. Yeah. I'm Robyn Walker. Thank you and take care till next time.